Can you see me? Can you see me, bro?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hear me nice? Okay. Alright. Razor Gore, first fight, as soon as we zone in. Got a bunch of eggs in here. Guy that controls the orbs kills the eggs. And there's a bunch of trash that spawns. The pull, for the pull, the paladin will represent the raid.
Hey, real quick, are you not on Baron C-Strike Game?
Yeah, I am.
Yes.
Click the link in Guild News. You don't see it?
Alright, sorry.
Do you see it now? Hope so.
Just
All right.
continue.
So yeah. So the raid will move to where Star's at. We'll do the pull. These mobs die really fast. Nothing special here. You might want to slap a group taunt on them on the pull or something. Is not a bad idea. But yeah, not a huge threat here. Once that's done, we're gonna do kind of like odds left, evens right. A lot of guilds will set up in each of these four corners where my mouse is. They'll set up like a kill team in each one of those corners and then kind of put the ranged in the middle. But the Fusion Pug over on Northdale, they kind of run it this way, and I don't know, I like it. It keeps the raid more together. The healers have range on pretty much everybody, so there'll be a tank stack, like odds left, evens right, over here where I'm at, killing mobs that spawn out of this cubby that I'm standing at, and that spawn where the mouse is. Just sit here and let the mobs come to you. Healers, range DPS will be up here on top of the little little ledge here, killing stuff that comes through, and it'll just be a mirror on the right side. So just sit back, let the mobs funnel in, blow them up. 3 different types of mobs. I'm gonna go ahead and start this up. I'll wait because I'll have to mind control Razor Gore. There's 3 different types of mobs. You got the caster guys that fireball, arcane explosion. You got the melee guys like these. They look identical to these guardsmen here. They just cleave and melee kind of hard. And then you got the dragons, which melee really damn hard. If you peel aggro on those, you really got to watch your shit because they will two-shot you. But so tanks, definitely prioritize picking up the dragons. Prioritize killing the dragons. Interrupt and kick the caster ones. And the melee orcs like these aren't really a big deal. So that's pretty much that. I'm going to go over the orb real quick while we're doing this. We're gonna take care of this trash. And then on the pole, you see Razor Gore's coming. You want to mind control him, like so. He's got 4 different abilities. You got Fireball Volley, Sleep Dragonkin, Cleave, and Destroy Egg. Destroy Egg is what we want to do. Move him. Start at the far side of the room and then work your way back. So pick him up, move to an egg, destroy it, and just keep doing that until you get to the end. I want to say, what is there? I can't remember how many eggs there are. There's like 25 or 30 eggs, something like that. Pretty easy stuff. Just keep lighting up eggs and work your way to the other side of the room. And that's all you do. And while that's going on, these are some of the mobs I was talking about. First wave. I want you to see some of the mobs that spawn. All right, here's one of the melee guys. They don't hit too hard. They don't melee too hard. And then
They had a lightsaber.
Are you using Dark Glare?
yeah. I don't see any of the dragons. There's a dragon. I should have leveled up like weapon skills or something. I can't hit any of these mobs. Whatever, it's fine. But there you go. There's the mobs. We're gonna kill them all over there, and that's how. That's one thing I wanted to go over is watching your timer. Let me clean up the room just a little bit real quick. So if you're running the dragon, just make sure you keep an eye on your channel bar. You have a 1 minute debuff here, and the channel is for kind of close to the same amount of time. But whenever it gets low, when it starts to get low, move Razor Gore away from you, and then you'll cast a spell, or just let it time out, whichever you prefer, and that'll be that. All good with that?
Quick question. Do you run 2 people or just 1 to control Razor Gore?
You should just be able to do it with 1. It's always good to have a backup in case. Every now and then, the guy that mind controls with the orb will fuck up and fat finger a spell. And if you do that, then that's going to break the channel, and he's going to have the debuff, so he can't use the orb. So if that happens, somebody needs to. It doesn't even matter who. Somebody get over there and click that fucking orb and take back control. All right, I'm going to go through and click most of these eggs to just get rid of them, and then so we can move on to Veil. But oh yeah, so phase 2, I'll go over that real quick. Whose mic is open? All right. Somebody's yawning or something. So phase 2, the raid. Once all the ads will call for collapse, get over here, and you'll line of sight behind this because he'll do a fireball volley right away. Tanks, pick him up. He'll go for whoever had the last mind control. He's going to do a conflag like right away. So let him patrol around. These eggs up here, these 2 up here, will be the last 2 that you destroy. Make sure that. So if I'm Razor Gore, make sure that you let him go about where I am. I don't want him on the backside because then he'll patrol around the backside and he'll be facing the raid. I want him to patrol down the raid side and then immediately look away from the raid and come back over here to me. So I'll pick him up about right here. He'll stun me, he'll conflag me, and then it'll be on the secondary tanks to pick him up. And the raid sits over here and line of sights the fireballs if needed and just spam heals the shit out of the melee. Free action potion, to avoid the stun, and that's pretty much that. All right, let me get these eggs clicked so we can move on. Anybody got questions while I'm getting rid of the eggs? No? Nobody got questions? Oh, somebody mentioned the 4 raid groups. I think I prefer doing it. What the fuck is going on? Why are those respawning? I think it's because I swung at the boss and it's resetting. There we go. Now it's working. Okay. Somebody was. Let me get some fucking movement speed here. There we go. Somebody was mentioning the four cubby raid strat. That's definitely the standard thing to do. That's what most people do. But it divides your raid further, and you can definitely do it just fine with that. There's no, if that's what you want to do, go for it. This is something I picked up on Northdale and prefer to do. Is do all one side. Let the mobs come to you. All the healers have range on all the tanks and all the melee. I just feel like it's a bit safer.
Can't you just teleport to Veilstress?
I can, but when I was doing this earlier before, in the day, if I didn't do the event, like legit do it, then it would not let me do Veil. Shit. Am I bugged now? I'm bugged. Not like this. Not like this. Come on. Not like this.
Can you just die?
I can, but it
Razor
probably
Gore?
won't. I don't know that it will.
He has to blow up the egg first,
Yeah, I don't know that it will.
with Razor Gore.
What is he doing? He's facing me. There you go. There you go. Now we're getting somewhere. He was like evading or something. I just need to wait for this debuff to go, and then everything will be good. There's the War Stomp. There's the Fireball Volley for about 1600. could cancel it. All right, good. So yeah, you'll pick him up. He should be about right here. There's the conflag. As you can see, the conflag's a cone. It hit both my characters. So it's very important that we get him faced away from the raid. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kill him now. Look at that. Look at that loot. Oh yeah, let's get some. Alright, moving on up. Real quick. So when you walk through here, the techies aggro. We'll want to kill these. Don't walk through this door till we're ready because we will want to kill these techies. Obviously, we need a lot of elementium ore. We got like 3 completed Thunder Furies now, so we will need that that elementium ore for those Thunder Furies. So don't walk in there and prematurely aggro, or the techies will get away from us. While he's doing his thing there, the cinematic raid will stack right here at Star. Boss will be positioned just like he is. On his back leg will be the DPS, the melee DPS. And then on the opposite side, this back leg will be Fury Warriors and any off tanks. Okay? I want the Fury Warriors over here because they are the ones most likely to pull aggro in this fight. That's like 75% of wipes on Vale is some Fury Warrior pulling aggro or someone else pulling aggro and then getting the raid flame breathed. So, or the cleave. The cleave is really bad. So we're gonna tuck the Fury Warriors over here on this side, so that if something really bad happens and they peel, it'll just be them that die. We'll still have our rogues over on the other side to kind of finish the fight for us, and we should be just fine. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Tank him up here. I'm gonna go ahead and talk to him, get him doing his thing. So like I said, the range are gonna stay basically perpendicular with the boss. That back right leg, that's where the melee need to be. When you get the debuff, Burning Adrenaline, you're going to run straight to this post. You're going to run straight to this post right here, and you're going to die over here somewhere behind the boss. It makes all your spells instant cast, and increases your damage by 100%. So even as a caster, you can pull aggro on this guy if you get the debuff really early. So yeah, just a heads up on that. Pull him. You're gonna stay permanent. He does the Fire Nova shit. It hit me with a debuff here pretty soon because I'm the only mana user. Adrenaline makes my spells instant cast, as you can see. Does they heal for more? I think they heal for more as well. Yeah, they heal for a little bit more. Or no, they heal for the same. It reduces my maximum HP, so I'm at 900, 700. 500, 300, and eventually you're going to get one shot by a spell, or you're just going to die. And at about 40 seconds, you see the tank burns coming. Apply that there. I get Burning Adrenaline, damage done by 100%. Deals damage to surrounding players. When you die. So eventually he's going to kill me too. I'm going to go ahead and kill him though. Alright, Vale's dead. That's pretty much the fight. Heal the shit out of the tanks. We're going to put... Did I bug? Alright, we're back in business. That's pretty much it. Heal the shit out of the tanks. Priest will be using prayer healing. I'll put probably 4 healers on the main tank. And we're not going to pre-fire pot, but we're going to pop a fire pot like about 15 seconds into the fight. And yeah, we'll do that. Questions about Vale? Anybody?
Yeah. So mages obviously need to have ice block for this, so we can get out of that.
Nope. There's no way to survive. The only way to survive the Burning Adrenaline is on private you could Hearthstone and then log out and in, and the buff would tick off while you're offline, and that would allow you to survive. But outside of that, I don't know of any way to live.
So you're just fucked on
We're
both
not
sides.
doing that, by the way. Never doing
On a PvP server, it's just not a good idea.
I have a question. Why don't we pre-fire? Why do we pop 10 seconds in?
Well, you're gonna have just done Razor Gore, and that is gonna eat up any kind of a pre-fire pot you would have had, and plus you're gonna fap on that fight. So coming through this door, you're gonna have about a 1 minute cooldown on your potion timer.
Okay.
And then when we start Veil, you won't have it up anyways. And honestly, there's unlimited mana here, so I just feel like a pre-fire pot's a little wasted. If you had time to get one up, sure, it's beneficial. But the main thing is that once you have a little bit of a health deficit, about 15,
Gotcha.
20 seconds into the fight, then it's a good time to pop one to help the healers get caught back up.
The best part about a fire pot on that is the casting pushback that it stops.
Yeah, I mean, even concentration aura is really a good idea for the paladins over fire aura to fight that spell pushback. But we're going to put 2 tanks up here, tank 1, tank 2, because of the high parry dodge chance in classic. They're both going to go ham. Whoever gets it gets it. Priest pop fade, and then you can heal on the pull and just get in deep. If our DPS is good, we'll kill him before the burning adrenaline hits the tank, but on the first clear, I don't know if it'll happen or not. We'll see. Enough on that one. Moving on up.
I just had one quick question. When let's say you're a caster and you get the burning adrenaline and you blink over to the pillar, do you want to continue, have us continue DPSing or just completely stop?
Just 1 sec.
Go ham, but don't pull threat.
Yeah, I mean, if you get burning adrenaline, fucking go ham. You have instant cast.
Yeah.
Frost bolts or shadow bolts. Just don't pull aggro.
But you always get those random crits, and I don't want her to turn around and just completely cleave the entire raid to death.
Never mind. False alarm. All right, what was your question again?
You will not pull threat as a caster. That's it.
You can. If you get
Yeah,
burning adrenaline, and you're chain casting 100% damage increase shadow bolt crits.
The tank should be able to do plenty of threat with throw strikes, man.
I'm telling you, it's possible.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I don't think
I've seen it done.
My original
I've seen it
question
done.
was, if a caster gets burning adrenaline and we go over to the pillar, do we continue pumping? Someone else just said just watch the threat, but how much threat is too much? Obviously, you got to
let's say I get burning adrenaline right here. I'm with the range group. I'm gonna continue targeting the boss. If I'm a mage, I'm gonna fire ward my way over there, and yeah, I'm gonna pump frost bolts into that asshole the whole way over here while I'm jumping. They're instant cast and they're 100% damage increase. And then when I get over here, I'm gonna try to survive as long as I can with fire ward or a fire potion. And then eventually your health is gonna tick down to where your maximum health is so low you're just gonna get one-shotted by a fire nova. Or the duration will complete and you'll die.
Arcane power.
Know that you can have bolts multiples in the air, and you can do 10,000 threat really quick.
I'm telling you, I mean, there's a funny stream of
It's gonna be
North.
tough, but it can happen.
There's a funny stream of North doing that where he peeled and yeah, it was like whoa.
Are you allowing
I
DPS
just don't wanna
warriors
raid
to
people.
heroic strike, or do you want them to use a different ability because of threat?
I'm sorry, say again.
Because you know how heroic strike generates more threat. Do you want the DPS warriors to be using a different?
I think the using cleave is the safe thing to do. Just watch your threat meter, make sure that we got it updated. All of this. All right, we got 6 mobs here. There's two of each, but there's one. No, there's 3 of so two seethers and 2 flame scale, and there's 2 wormkin, so 7. Yeah, there's 7 mobs. So we're going to sleep. I don't mark. I like to put moon and square for the sleeps. So the druids will sleep these 2, the casters. It's very important that you spam the fuck out of sleep on these. If these get loose, they can really fuck people up real quick. The seethers, the rest of the 4 mobs, Skull X, Star Circle, we're gonna stack those over here in this. You see this guy's got a buff Aura of Flames. He does I'll go over what each one of those do. There's only 2 of these pulls, but they're pretty hairy. They're worth explaining. So one of the tanks will come up here. He'll do the pull. I'll do a demonstration here. Here, do the pull, run back. No one stay inside of this tunnel. It's very bad. You're going to bring them right over here in this corner. All the tanks are going to pick them up as soon as they come in. You're going to stack them nice and deep in this corner. A couple of debuffs I want to show you. So this market detonation right here is very bad. It hits me. Here, I'll move the paladin up so you can see what kind of damage it does. If I don't go into the next galaxy. See where if it'll show up here. There's just too much shit going on for me to actually just point it out for you. Where's my combat log? Market detonation. You see it? How it's just spamming the fuck out of me? Market detonation. That's coming from this debuff right here. It has to be dispelled immediately. The other one is Flame Buffet. That's got to just be dispelled very quickly. And the Flame Shock I don't think is actually that bad. Let's see, Flame Shock is not really that bad. But basically, what I'm trying to get at here is cleanse the fuck out of everybody on these pulls. Cleansing is very important. That's what I'm trying to get at. But all right, so I'll go over the mobs real quickly. We're gonna sleep, like I said, moon and square. The other 4 mobs, star, circle, skull, X, we're gonna tuck them away in that corner, cleave them down. There'll be a tank assigned to each one. And then, depending on how many tanks we got or what we want to do, we may have a hunter kite the captain. If we do that, the hunter is going to pick up the captain, and he's going to run him this way, down through here, and then the hunter is going to jump down to where Vale is and just basically just kite him back and forth up and down this ramp. And by the time he gets over here to this side, all those 4 mobs will be dead. So spam cleanse, disarm on the pull, big fucking heals. It's a very short, very intense pull. That's it. Any questions about that? We got 2 of them. We'll do them both the same way. Alright, good shit.
Will one tank have multiple targets tanked on this pull?
No, no. Not unless something gets... Oh, I forgot to GM off. Sorry. Okay. Yep. Moving on up, we get past all that. Suppression room time. Positioning, you really got to be vocal here. Positioning is very important, and getting clean pulls. Be patient, and knowing where your spots are to stop, so you can have a break. As soon as you see these orcs like this walking around, you want to go ahead and start getting those marked up, because you will have to run into them at some point. Star, circle, and diamond are good to put on there. There'll be a mage assigned to each one of those colors, so that when we do bump into those, they get sheeped right away. The hatchers, they do 2 things. First of all, they have an aura that they just... you see all those chained like that? I wanted to get the aura. Oh, here it is. Okay, growing flames. Each one of them has its own stack, and you see as it goes up very quickly, 250 every 2 seconds, 300 every 2 seconds. So that will start to hurt the melee quite a bit. So if we get 2 of those, if we get 2 hatchers, it's not a huge deal. It's a little hairy. It's not a huge deal if we get 2 hatchers, but if we get 3, we're in deep shit. Like, we need to be popping fire potions. We need to be using hard cooldowns to survive that. Ideally, our hunters are going to watch out for something like Skull. Skull's in a phenomenal place to pull right now. Skull there is too close to the orcs. If I pull Skull now, it'll get both those hatchers. You just have to... You got to be careful with the pulls here. Okay, pulling it right now should be fine. Get a single. But as you can see here, I'll pull this one. It should get both of them. Oh, well, if I do that, of course, it's going to get both of them. Wrong button, sorry. Just being good with the... Right. See, this one will probably get both if I pull right there. No? Okay. Got lucky. It's cause the whelps were dead. That's why. Be careful with the pulls. All right. The next section. So there'll be really just need 3 tanks here. You need 1 tank picking up the whelps. And you need 2 tanks picking up hatchers or orcs, and a 3rd tank. Well, I guess technically it'd be a 4th tank, but helping pick up anything that's like an extra pull. Rogues, I'll have 3 of you assigned to picking up traps. A mid rogue, a forward rogue, and a rear rogue. So let's say the raid's positioned on skull. Mid rogue will be disarming this trap, and the forward rogue will be up here disarming this one. Being careful not to let the whelps detect him. And then a rogue behind us watching this one. You guys don't DPS. You just sit there and you keep those fucking traps down. They have a random respawn. You don't really know when they're going to pop back up, and it puts a debuff on the raid that's very bad. So your number 1 job is not to kill things here. If you're one of those assigned rogues, you're just going to sit there and keep these fucking traps down, and that's all you do. The whelp tank, make sure you don't keep your engineering shield on too long, or it'll break. But pick them up with your shield and demo shout, and just tank them off to the side. And when we get about 20 to 25, that's usually about the time it's good to kill them, because when you get that many on you, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. You're going to be full tank gear. But yeah, we'll pull pretty much this whole room. We'll pull pretty much this whole room back to where we're at right now, up to about where Skull is there. And when we get to about that far, when we start getting in that deep, we're going to need to start moving up to get the last couple pulls. But we'll pull everything back to right here for this section. All right, moving forward. About that area there. When we get about 20-25 whelps, we want to kill them. The whelp tank, you need to be in full mitigation gear. The only thing you're using to build threat is your engineering shield, thorns, demo shout, shit like that. And you're going to take a lot of damage from the whelps. When we get to this cubby here, we're going to stack in this corner. Right there where my druid is. We're going to stack in this corner. We'll kill all the whelps, clear these traps, and we'll get a nice little breather in, a drink. And then we will do pulls to the top of the ramp here. The raid is going to stay back here in that corner, like I was telling you. And we'll do pulls to the top of the ramp. Like, I would grab that one, get these orcs marked up. These orcs do a shadow shock right when they aggro. As you'll see, I'll take a lot of damage right when they pick me up. Look, see that 6,000 damage right when they aggroed on me, shadow damage. So the first person these guys aggro on is going to get their teeth knocked out. So make sure you got a powered shield, healers, and you're watching whoever's up front doing the pulls. If it's the hunter, if it's the tanks, just really keep a fucking solid eye on whoever's up front. Okay. Like I said, we'll do this orc pull. We'll get that hatcher that patrols perpendicular, and that's it. Once we get those 2, we can move up here into this corner. Moving on up. Everybody will move in right here. This guy will be dead. Those guys will be dead. It'll just be us in this corner and a couple of whelps. We'll do this pull. Sorry. We'll do skull, and we'll do star. We'll get both of those, pull them back to this corner, and then once they are dead, we'll move up to either this cubby. This cubby is fine. We can tuck away in this one. This is a good one to get a breather and drink. Or we will tuck into this cubby and drink here. One or the other. Either one's fine. Just call it on the fly. If you do move up to this cubby, you're gonna have to worry about this orc pack. So I feel like this one here is the safer of the 2. Yeah, moving on up. I'm pretty much done with doing those. Get the last couple of hatchers, and then you'll move it on up again. Okay, this cubby here. This is the second from the end. Make sure that you're very careful here, because if you move up any further, I'll show you his aggro range. about right there. You see? See how far away I am? That's a very large aggro range. If we aggro him when we got other mobs coming, it's going to be a bad day. It's going to be a very bad day. Whenever we get up to this last cubby, make sure people are stacked in this corner deep as fuck. It's also okay to be in this corner deep as fuck. Just make sure you're touching the wall at all times. Another one is the rogue that's in charge of getting this trap right here. This is a pretty common mistake. He needs to get this trap down so that we can move into the fight without being snared. But it's pretty common for him to get knocked out of stealth right here and fuck that up. So if you're the rogue assigned to forward, don't fuck this one up. Just be careful with this trap. Make sure that before you bother trying to disarm it, that the raid is good to go and they're actually about to push into the boss.
Wait till the dragons are dead.
Yeah, wait till the dragons are dead. There you go. But this one, a lot of rogues like to fuck this one up right here, this little trap. That's pretty much that. So, all these would be dead. Die. Off. So that's what the room's going to look like. No elites. Broodlord's there. When we call for it, we're going to get the raid lead. What you're looking for is that these two traps are down and that they're fresh. That they just went down. Once that's done, all hands are going to push in and kill the whelps first. Everybody on the whelps first, and then you're going to tuck him into this corner over here to the right. All hands get in. I'm going to shapeshift the suppression. So you see that there's a suppression device right there where my mouse is. If we get in this corner deep enough, we will not get hit with it. So you want to be all the way in this fucking corner, deep as hell, tanking the boss. This is where you tank him, right here. Raid. Let me get my positioning here. Raid will move directly to this little egg right here against the wall and heal the tank from right here. And that's that. He does a cleave, he does a blast wave. Guarantee you someone is going to get aggro. And if Broodlord gets over here in the range stack, if you're a mage, a warlock, whatever, just at all costs, get him back into that fucking corner over there. If he does a blast wave over here in the ranged, it could aggro stuff from below. It could aggro more whelps over here. It's just stay against the wall and heal the shit out of the tanks. So tanks, we gotta wear. We have to have a lot of threat gear here, but at the same time, we got to be able to take a mortal strike. As you can see, what that mortal strike hit me for. 6,500 mortal strike. So we got to be able to take a really big hit from this guy, but at the same time we got to be able to put out a lot of threat. So you'll have to have a mix there. Mortal strike can't crit, so you're not really worried about defense. Just high stamina, high armor. This is definitely one you want a stone shield potion for. That's that. Big threat. Get him in the corner. Kill him as quickly as you can. We'll have at least 3 tanks building threat on this guy. Healers. Broodlord likes to do a knock. He does a knock away that reduces your threat by half, and that's why there'll be a tank swap. But he likes to do that right before he does a mortal strike. So if when you see that knock away go off, or you see a target change happen, there's a good chance that mortal strike is coming. So we really, not only do we have to really spam our main tank, but we have to keep our off tanks topped off, because he could literally knock away the tank, 1 second later swing on the off tank and then mortal strike. And so off tank was taking no damage, and then he just got hit for 8,000 or 9,000. So it's a very, very short fight, but just make sure we keep the tanks topped off at all costs. And if you get aggro, get him back in that corner. Any questions about this guy?
Don't stand in front of the door.
I was about to say, don't stand in front of the door.
Did I hear that?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. So when he gets to about 10%, we'll start calling, get away from the door, get away from the door. It's because as soon as he dies, this door is going to open, and you don't want this shit to aggro on you when the door opens, because you're not going to be in a good place to fight. So make sure you're clear of the door. Also, we don't know what these mobs' aggro range is going to be like on Classic, so keep that in mind as well. Any other questions about or comments about Broodlord?
I did say something about the whelps, like mages who haven't done it before wait for the call of AoE because they'll just keep
You're talking about Suppression Room, not Broodlord, right?
suppression room.
Okay, yeah. For the Suppression Room, you're not going to AoE the whelps until the tank 2 tells you that he's like, okay, I'm starting to take heavy damage, or we're about to move. One or the other. That's the two reasons to kill whelps. Either A, he's taking some heavy damage because he's got 20, 25, 30 whelps on him, or B, we're about to move and we need to kill them anyways. So you single target just like the physical do on the Wormkin and the orcs through the Suppression Room until they tell you to AoE, and then you're going to go balls deep, kill those whelps quickly as you can. All right, good shit. Gonna nuke this guy down now. We did it. As you can see, the door opens. There's a techie pole right on the other side. Venomous totem feels bad. All right. We will back clear some of this. We don't have to back clear all the way, but I'm going to because it's easy. But we'll back clear, and then when we're back clearing the rogues, you guys got to come back here and get rid of all these fucking traps. And so forth. We'll do that about halfway back, and that's about all you need to do. Why did that not disarm? There we go. Alright, tech packs. Tech packs coming up next. I'll go in here and show you what kind of mobs we're working with. So this first pull that's just inside the door, you got like 6 techies and you got 2 warlocks. Warlocks will always be what we kill first. Skull and X. Those will always be Skull and X. They do 3 different things. They do a Rain of Fire that is not channeled. They just cast it and it does it. They do an AoE Shadow Bolt volley that is interruptible. It's very important that it gets interrupted. And they drop a portal that summons a Felguard about 15 seconds after it pops. So if we kill these fast enough, they won't summon a Felguard, but if they do, it's not a big deal. Just Warlocks, watch out for it. You can banish it. But on the pull, very important that we get counter spells or kicks, whatever, on these Warlocks, because they'll try to do that Shadow Bolt volley pretty quickly. And if they drop a Rain of Fire and then do a Shadow Bolt volley, it's just like the damage that comes out on these tech packs on the pull is very, very high, very, very bursty. Now let's talk about the other, the worst part of these tech packs, and that's the fucking techies themselves. So they share. Well, we'll see how it works in Classic, but as I remember it as well, they share a threat pool. So what I do to one counts for threat on all of them. And typical pull is, whoever's going to do it will pull from right here, and the techies, I'll pull them to the left and tank them here, or a mage or whoever's going to be doing them. It'll be different for each raid. And the warlocks, we have to divide them. The techies need to be separate from all the other mobs, and we want the warlocks to come over here to the right. And we can even cleave them if we need to, but they're going to be dropping Rain of Fire, so you have to constantly be moving. Fire pots are really a godsend here, and they'll keep you alive. But big damage out of the gate. One thing that I will warn is druids, do not go ham on the pull on these. If I go to pull these techies, and somebody gets hit hard up here, and you do like an NS healing touch, you're going to have aggro on the techies, and they're all going to throw bombs at where you're standing, and that is going to get you and everyone around you killed. So the only people that need to be dropping bombs on the pull, as far as healers go, on this stuff, is priests. So priests, it's very nice. You got a nice little tool called Fade on the pull. Pop pre-fade on the pull for these, and then just spam flash heal out of the gate. Keep people alive for the pull, and then enough threat will be out there by the time your fade ends so that you don't get aggro. But druids, be very careful. Paladin doesn't generate a lot of threat with heals, so it's not a huge deal. But that's another thing that causes wipes quite a bit, is healers getting aggro on the techies on the pull. If whoever's got aggro on the techies, the entire raid needs to know who that is and get the fuck away from that person. But I'll show you real quick about how kind of this pull would go. Okay. I'll grab those. The warlocks, because it's too much for me to bother macroing with. But you see they throw bombs, so I'm just going to run circles around them. And I'll take a hit from fire every now and then, but for the most part it's just going to be this poison on me, which I'll have a druid assigned to healing this person. And you just build threat. I'm not getting any rage because of the way this works, but I'm not getting rage from the damage I'm taking. But just run around them in a circle like that, and you'll not get hit with very much fire at all. And once the 2 warlocks are done, once the 2 warlocks are dead, the mages and the warlocks will come AoE the techies. If you get aggro on the techies, get the fuck away from that person, get away from everybody else, spread out very quickly. And then after the techies, obviously the physical won't mess with the techies. It's a little scary for you guys to get mixed in with that. The other mob that is not in that first pull is these right here. Spellbinder. They're immune to all magic damage. They cast Flame Strike. I don't know if they'll do it on the tank or on a secondary target. We don't know yet. They also polymorph. They like to polymorph the tank. But we will do this pull the same way. Oh yeah, and there's one more mob here. The Overseer. This guy just kind of melees hard and does cleave. So we'll put a tank on him to just put him against the wall and keep him off to the side. But the big one to worry about here is Spellbinder can really a lot of problems. So we'll line of sight tank that Spellbinder right here. We're going to tank the Spellbinder right here when we do this pull. The 2 warlocks will come inside on the right, and the techies will get put over here on this side, the same way as the last one did. If we need to, I don't know what the aggro range of these mobs are. We're probably going to skip this cubby and then come back and kill it for ore, but I have to play that out. But definitely these first 2 pulls, we're going to put them right there. This cubby pack, we can probably move inside and do it inside here without any problems. But before we do that, we got to do flame gore, and that's what I'm going to explain next.
Baron, real
I'm
quick,
sorry,
I have a
Firemaw.
question.
Firemaw. Yeah, what's up?
Do you want priests to shield the mages before they AoE the techie?
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, for the techies, it'll just depend. It'll be different each raid. Whichever raid that I'm in, I'm going to be tanking the techies. I've done it a lot. I know exactly what to watch for, and I'll be very vocal about calling out if there's an aggro change. Whereas, maybe a mage is really suited to do it. I mean, hunters can do it. There's a bunch of different people that can do it. I kind of want to get Firemaw before he gets away from me, if he'll aggro on me. Yeah, I'll get him on the next pass. I can go over this pack over here while he's patrolling again. Techs. These are really some badass trash. Like, it's not uncommon to lose 2 or 3 people to every single one of these pulls, but we're going to do our best to make it as clean as we possibly can. Just the damage is very bursty, and if for example you lose the techie tank or the techies switch aggro, it just causes a lot of problems real fast. For this pack, there's the big guy, the right there skull, the worm guard. You can have a hunter kite him back into where Broodlord was. If needed, he does a war stomp, and he'll have a random ability like a stun or or he'll do fire damage to the tank. He'll have a random ability. I'm not really going to get into it a whole lot, but they hit really hard and they're really nasty. The other 3 mobs, they just cleave and melee kind of hard, so we will stack those and just cleave those down. Alright, so Fire Maw, I'm going to show you how to do the pull. He has a large patrol, so I just have to hop right into it. So if I'm going to be main tanking, I'm going to say, hey, give me a power word shield. I'm going to be up here, and I'm going to put him in this grate right there. That's where I'm going. Pick him up. Oh, shit. Wrong button. Did he reset? Hold on, let me fix this. Where he gets away. Got my powered shield. Pull him over here. I'll run him straight into the wall. There, that's where I want him right there. Then I got to turn my camera, and I got to make sure that he's facing directly into this wall. I could improve the position a little bit. That's where I want him. That's where I want him right there. I could angle him a little bit more towards the raid, but for the most part, that is where I want him. If I go too far to this side, he did the wing buffet. That's what fucked up my position there. But if I go too far towards the raid side, then I risk the raid, which is going to be back over here, getting hit with Shadow Flame. And if I'm too far to this side, let me go GM off. To that side, then my healers can't heal me without getting the debuff. So you see the problem? I need to have him right there. And there will be times where he just gets right up on top of you. You'll have to reposition, which you won't do it like I just did during Shadow Flame. Right there. So I'm a healer. I'm able to heal without getting the debuff. See, it's not being applied to me. I can heal just fine right here. Tanking right here. I'm going to fix my camera, make sure that he's perpendicular with the gate. I don't have... I needed to learn taunt on the other guy. Thought I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Alright. So for tanking, let's see which one I'm on here. So I'm an off tank in this position. Play the off tank role. Good. He's gonna do the wing buffet. That's fine. Alright, so there we go. Alright. The thing that I need to pay attention to as the off tank is the wing buff timer. When it gets to 10 seconds, that's when I'm gonna move in. I'm going to announce that I'm taunting. I'm going to taunt. The main tank, I'm going to sidestep a little bit. I'm going to let that wing buffet go out. And then he's going to face me. And face him right back in. My job is done as the off tank. I'm going to go back and hide. But this fight is mainly about tanking. Then I want to see what my position looks like, so I can get a little bit to the side more to help my healers out. But that's pretty much it. 10 seconds to wing buffet. Go back in. I have to have my back into this corner here or I'll get knocked away. Taunting. He's going to hit with the wing buffet. Back to me. My job's done. I'm getting out of there. Pretty easy stuff. I'll have 2 tanks doing this just in case there's a taunt resist. And you'll want to taunt at least 5 or 6 seconds early so that, you know, if there is a taunt resist, see his angle is okay. It's a little bit too far. You really have to just pay attention to this angle. If he gets angled too far to the side, he's going to shadow flame the raid, and that's bad.
I'm definitely wearing the cloak, just cause.
Yeah. Everyone's going to wear the cloak for the first couple of weeks at least. Pretty much it on positioning. Any questions about that, tanks? And then I'll go over the healing and the DPS real quick.
It's really important for tanks to know what to do when a taunt does resist. So, like, if the main tank does get hit by wing buffet, the other tanks need to be
the number one thing I'm trying to do this entire fight is to keep Firemaw positioned right where the fuck he's at right now. I don't want him to move from there. I want him to sit right there the entire fucking fight. That's all I'm trying to do. I want him faced that way. I want him in that position the entire fight. That's what you're trying to do. And healers, you guys are going to have to be vocal too. If you get to a spot where you're like, oh, you know, I'm getting hit, you need to move a little bit.
How many stacks should we have before ranged movement?
Hold on, I'll get to that. So tanks, anything else, tanks? Anything else? Pretty self explanatory there. Be there for the wing buffet. See, this is bad. If he gets loose like that, you got to get that fucker back here in the wall quickly as possible. And we're back in position. We're good to go again. His angle isn't too bad. We're good. Hopefully that's enough for the tanks. So melee, you guys are going to be in here. This is your hide spot melee right here. I'll put like 2 healers in here with you. They have 2 different roles. They're going to help heal the melee. That are going to be, they should be able to line of sight heal the melee, peek, and hit line of sight heal the melee right there. So the melee are going to be, fix this here. The melee are going to be attacking Firemaw right here, his tail. As a melee healer, I should be able to like snipe melee heals right here, if you see what I'm saying. And also, the off tank is going to be right there in that grate, so I should be able to heal the off tank as well when they go to do the wing buffet talk. What the hell's going on? Give me this thing. That's the melee / off tank healer spot right there. Just use your line of sight. For the ranged, you guys just got to peek right here. You know, throw nukes at him, and then whenever it's time, whenever you get to about a 6 stack. So this is 6 stack. That's 1,000 damage. That's a 1,200 damage. So when you get up to like 5 stack, 5, 6, 7 stack, you're really going to have to watch your HP. You can get killed very quickly. And if you die on this fight and you're a DPS and it wasn't the aggro, it's really your own fault. I mean, if you stand there and you get hit by a train, that's on you. All you got to do is get out of the way, let it tick down, bandage up, and yeah, you'll have to hide a couple of times during the fight. Questions, healers, or DPS, or anybody about this fight?
Wearing some FR as DPS actually can increase your uptime and your DPS.
Yeah, wearing some mixed fire resist pieces is not a bad idea. Healers, I don't want you guys wearing any fire resist. I want you just pumping your full healing gear. Everyone's going to wear an Exascale cloak. And just, you know, make sure we get it right with the taunts, tanks. Make sure we get it right with the taunts. There's 2 of you, so there's backup. He does melee kind of hard, I'll mention that. He is fairly bursty. You know, the Shadow Flame is 4,000 to 5,000 damage. And on top of that, he thrash attacks. Yeah. So it's fairly bursty. You're going to have to chug fucking heals into that tank. I'll put 4 to 5 healers on the tank, and you guys really need to stick to your assignments.
So off tanks are primarily just soaking wing buffet.
That's the only thing you do. You're going to be in full fire resist gear too, though. So if Firemaw is at like 40%, like I know he's going to die, then as an off tank, I'll move in and I'll DPS as well. Because I know the fight's going to end before I get any kind of a stack issue, you know what I'm saying? But for the first 50%, as an off tank, it is good to hide just in case there is some bad RNG with the main tank, and you guys need to swap out. It's very rare. It's very rare that'll happen though. If he's wearing 300 to 315 fire resist, shouldn't be an issue there.
Are you going to use a Paladin Aura, the fire resistant?
Yeah, we need a fire resist aura for the. We need a fire resist aura for the tanks, of course.
And just like a hypothetical question, what's the like ideal like response for healers if we have trouble like determining a safe, or like let's say like the boss just starts to move a lot?
You just have to talk to the tanks. Say it's not, fix positioning. Just say fix positioning. That's really all you need to say. Healers are getting hit, or fix positioning, one or the other. But yeah, you are going to take some stacks as a healer, and there are some, especially with the way classic mob pathing is. Like, this fight's going to be kind of annoying. I'll be honest with you. It's going to be very annoying. If I just barely move, this mob might jump over my fucking head. So I'm definitely a little concerned about the Drakes. The tanks are really going to have to be on their shit with positioning. Just always try to keep that fucker perpendicular to this grate. That's all you got to do. If he gets like right up on your nuts, where like you're having issues getting distance from him, then wait for the shadow flame to go off. Run him. Let the healers know. Run him out away from the wall a little bit, and then walk him back in. Try not to do that unless you absolutely need to, though, because it's you're going to line us out the healers for a couple seconds, and it's just risky. Keep him facing that grate, perpendicular, and build as much threat as you can, and you'll be just fine. All right. I already went through these big worm guards. They hit really fucking hard. Probably will have a hunter just pull him through the doorway there, and then just fiend it halfway back. And by the time that this thing is able to run back, one of these mobs will be dead, and a tank will be there ready to pick him up. But it does a war stomp. Keep these fucking things out of the raid at all costs. If it gets into the healer pack and does a war stomp, people are going to die real quick. Alright, I'm going to kill this pack too because I don't want to mess with this bullshit. And that one's immune to magic. Okay. Alright, moving on up. As I said, we'll probably do, if we do this cubby pack, we'll do it around that corner there. It's fine. He polymorphed my paladin, as you can see. The spellbinder. He can polymorph the tank. If he does that, you got to get the dispel very quickly. This pull will be done from about right here. I'll put the techies off to the left. I'll line of sight them at the crest of the hill here, and run them over here, and then I'll meet them at the crest of the hill. We're trying to get the warlocks. Hunters can help out with that. The warlocks and the warlocks over here to the right. Pull the overseer all the way back. Pull him back here. Kind of tank him next to this keg, and then whoever our spellbinder tanks are, you're going to tank him. You're going to tank the spellbinder back there where it's at. So whoever that tank is and their healers, you guys are going to need to go up there to the heal and kind of tank him inside the position. Otherwise, you'll get line of sighted, and that should keep the spellbinder out of line of sight of our melee and our ranged for the flame strikes security. But I'm going to mow through all this shit. I think I've been over the tech packs for the most part good enough. You've got to be careful with this one here that patrols. If you're up here hanging out where I am and he patrols right here, you can ass pull. Same thing goes for this one over here. If you're up here hanging out, you can ass pull. We will fight this one kind of the same way. I will wait for that one right there, Star. I'll wait till he is clear and out of the way, and then I'll aggro the techies and move them down the side of the wall here, and we'll try to get the warlocks. The warlocks and everything else needs to come over here towards this area. And then this pack will be done the same. The last two packs, though, have 2 spellbinders, so I'll put a tank for each of those. There's 2 spellbinders, so the spellbinders will be tanked. Sometimes you can tank them in this cubby right there, or sometimes you can tank them back here. I'll probably just tank them out in the open over here somewhere where I'm at. The techies will come over here. I like to line of sight the techies right here. I'll pull the techs and then run them over here in line of sight. and that lets the tanks be able to kind of run up the hill here and extract the mobs out of the pull and move them down the hill. So that's how we'll do that pull, and then the last pull over there, it'll be done the same way. We'll use this line of sight from this hill over here to our advantage. Just cleaning house a little bit. Alright, all the trash is dead. Big reminder, we need to remember not to kill this guy. Where's he at? Master Elemental. One of us has got to learn how to smelt Elementium, and this guy teaches us, so I'll get somebody to mind control this guy to teach us how to smelt Elementium. Need to not forget about that. Pretty damn easy. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this guy. When he comes down the ramp, where's my paladin? Do a little bit of that jazz. Raid will be up here. You don't really have to hide. I mean, the Shadow Flame is off cooldown, or is on cooldown whenever the pull begins. So, you know, the raid can be over here at Skull. Anywhere around in here is fine. You're going to be the raid. You want to draw a line down the center of that fucking wall, and that's where the raid needs to be. Down the center of that wall, that crease in the wall. And when we go to do the pull, which I'm just going to go ahead and do, if he'll cooperate, we'll let him come down the hill, because that's normally how it'd be done anyways. These thrash, so it can be big damage on the pull. One of my keybinds is different on this client. I keep getting out of bear form. Walk him straight into this corner right here, and then you're gonna get him perpendicular to this wall. See how he's directly facing this wall? This is where my other two tanks are going to be, right here. Right here. See that positioning? That's a little bit too far. You just got to be very careful with positioning here. Whenever you see the debuff go up, I'm going to taunt. And whenever I see him get the debuff, which would be about right now, there it is, I'm going to taunt, and we'll just ping back and forth. So he's going to be doing 90-degree turns. The boss is going to be doing 90-degree turns, back and forth, but all tanks are not going to get hit with the knockaway, the wing buffet, because we're offset. As you can see, it didn't hit both of them. Like, I didn't taunt with the other character. It just he wing buffeted the paladin, and it went to the other druid. But we're just going to sit here and ping it. When he sees the debuff, we're going to taunt. That's all you do. Put him in the corner, build threat, and whenever the current tank gets a debuff, fucking taunt. Easy shit. Alright, I'm not going to spend any more time on this guy. He's easy as a loot pinata. Alright, other boss, same shit. You got to trank shot this boss, so hunters, it's very important we get tranks out there. Tank's going to come up here. I'll use that to pull. We'll do that. Pull him down. Exact same thing. Going to pull him down here. And you're going to get him directly faced into that wall. Let's see what that looks like. A little bit too much angle. Right there. That looks good. I got my off tank set up right here next to me. And I'm watching the wing buffet. 3 seconds, I need to taunt. Wing buffet hit, goes back to the other tank. That's all I'm doing as an off tank, making sure I get where that when I taunt the boss, it's going to be facing a good angle, and I'm watching the wing buffet timer. That's all I'm doing. 13 seconds. Main tank's doing his thing over here. Alright, wing buffet in 5 seconds. I want to go ahead and taunt. 5 seconds gives me enough time so that if I get a resist, I can use challenging roar or whatever I need to get it to face away from the main tank. So trank shot it, there'll be some raid damage. not going to get into anything else there. Wear a cloak for all 3 of these drakes. Alright, so I'm going to kill this thing.
Real quick for Trank Shot, watch the Frenzy timer and Trank Shot when a new one gets applied if you like fuck up. Because if you Trank Shot at the end of Frenzy, he's just going to cast another one right after, within like a second. So watch the timer on Frenzy before you Trank Shot.
So this is a hairy pull. These things do a lot of fucking damage to the tank. You got a couple of different options here. We can, if we want to, we can have a hunter kite Star. We can have him kite him down the hill here, or we can just set up 3 different tank pools. We'll have a tank here, we'll have a tank in the middle, and then we'll have a tank over here to the left, and make sure that they're at least about 30 yards apart. I think 30 yards is safe. What we're probably going to do is just tank them all in the middle, and we're all hands going to just free action potion and just blender these fucking things. But depending on the raid and if it's progression or not, that sort of thing, might play it a little safer, have a hunter cut one down, and then just burn the other 2 down. But make sure that we keep them out of the raid at all costs, and that you just keep them, and you don't have them too close together. If you get them too close together, they'll do a double war stomp, and it'll give you or any other melee around. It hurts really bad. What else was I going to mention here? What else was I going to mention about these guys? I think that was about it. Yeah. Oh yeah. So there'll be a second tank assigned to each one of these. There'll be a second tank assigned to each one of these, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I'm going to aggro them. So let's say I'm tanking up here, and I'm backup tank for this guy. Obviously, they wouldn't be 3 of them on one guy here. This is about the distance that I want to keep. I want to be in bear form, ready to go, and the raid would be kind of slightly behind me. And if I see anyone peel, I'm gonna get right in there and taunt and get it back into position. That's what I'm trying to do. So you're just sitting here playing defense for the raid, so that if any of the casters peel, that it gets taken care of real quickly. All right, enough of that. All right, almost there. Chromagus is the last one. Well, I'm sorry, Nefarian after that, but we're just about there. All right. So for Mr. Chromagus, I don't know what color we're gonna get, or what abilities we're gonna get. Get the tank all nice and good to go. Melee will hide right here in this area. Melee hide right here. And the healers, casters, ranged hide behind this wall. And the main tank is going to put him right here. What I'm looking for is I want the boss right here in front of me, and I want a nice angle to my healers right here. I want to be able to heal. I want to heal my boy tank right here without having to worry about dodging Chromagus at all. So let me go ahead and get that set up. And pull Chromagus and get him into position. Have a rogue come up here or something. It doesn't matter who does this. Just come up here, click the stick, and then whoever the warrior is tanking, just do a Blood Rage battle shout. Make sure that the main tank, has at least 6 sand, the off tank has at least 2 sand, and that the healers have at least 1 sand, and the hunters have at least 1 sand. For the first clear, DPS, you're probably not going to get any sand, so yeah, I'm sorry. It's a finite resource. This is the one boss in here we don't want to wipe on, because if we run out of sand, we're kind of fucked. So, make sure you got your shit together on this one. Gonna do the pull. Gonna aggro. As a tank, see what I'm looking for? I want to get my view straight right here, so that look at that bronze right away, LOL. So that my healers have good line of sight on me, and they don't have to worry about getting hit with the breath. I don't have timers on the pull on this one, and it might be that case. The breath should be coming now, so I would call for people to hide. There's the breath, ignite flesh. What the hell? Oh, I got mind control. I didn't see that one coming. I don't know what to do here.
Oh, it's a wipe.
Hold on a second.
Can you bubble?
Gone. Do I have it? It's in my spell book somewhere. Yes. It's going to be kind of difficult for me to do a demonstration then, with that being the case. But that's really the main thing. Not a whole lot to this fight. He needs to be trank shotted. Hunters, use your sand if you need to. Healers, this is where you're going to be positioned. When they call for a fucking breath coming and you have the bronze debuff, you need to get the hell out of line of sight early. If you have bronze, you need to head out and get behind line of sight 10 seconds early. When it gets to the 10-second mark, that's when you go hide, because you could get hit with some really bad RNG. As long as people don't get hit with the breath, it's a very easy fight. The other thing is I'll assign 2 to 3 paladins. All you're going to do this fight, you're not going to do any healing. You're just going to spam the fuck out of cleanse. That's all you're going to do. You're going to spam the fuck out of cleanse. He does a magic debuff, a poison, a disease, and a curse. The curse increases your fire damage taken by 100%, but the only people that should be taking fire damage is just the tank. So we really only need to decurse the tank here. If you're getting hit with fire damage at all this fight, it's because you fucked up. So no one should take fire damage except the tank, which it was ignite flesh, like I said. So just spam the hell out of cleanse if you're assigned to that, and that's all you do. If you're one of those that they're going to be spamming cleanse, you can come up here and put up Judgment of Wisdom and melee the boss and spam mouse over cleanse. That's a good way to do it. But if you're going to be one of the cleansers, I think it's good to come right here where Skull is, and you should be able to melee the boss from right here, or even if you can't, doesn't matter, whatever. Sit right here at this corner and just spam cleanse, and then when it's time to hide, you just move right here, and you're good. And that way you can cleanse the entire raid from right here. You can cleanse the melee, I can cleanse the ranged. I got everybody in my sights right here. Now, I need to talk about the other variation of this boss, which is the time lapse. Time lapse is a breath that puts an 8-second stun on everyone in line of sight, and it counts as a CC. So, meaning if you did not get hit with it, then you're a valid target to attack. The tank is going to get hit with it unless he resists it, and Chromagus is going to go to whoever the highest threat target there is that is not afflicted with time lapse. So a lot of guilds are crazy with everybody take it to the face. Like as long as your threat is below the off tank, you do not need to take the time lapse. So healers, absolutely no reason that you need to take the time lapse. Hunters, you should be fiending death. Absolutely no reason that you need to take the time lapse. You're going to need to trank afterwards anyways. Rogues, you probably vanished. All you got to do is watch your threat meter. If you're below the second tank, then you don't need to hide from the time lapse. If you're above him, then you need to take that time lapse directly in your face. Otherwise, Chromagus is going to come eat your lunch and you're going to die. So any questions about that?
Where do you take the time lapse? Just don't hide and it hits you? Or
Exactly.
Is
Be in line of sight. Take the time lapse. Yeah. That is going to crowd control you, and he will go for someone else. Now, if you're the off tank, you're going to need. So when we do the pull as an off tank, you're going to need to be out here building secondary threat, and then like I said, whenever it's time to hide, you're going to go hide too as the off tank. So that makes it where the first 2 breaths are the most dangerous because we don't know what's going to happen. It could be a time lapse, and you could be ahead of that second tank. So you want to make sure to not be ahead of the second tank in threat for the first 2 breaths for that reason. You just don't know what it's going to be, so the tank is trying to. The breath is like a 1.5 second cast, so there's really not enough time for you to be like to recognize what the breath is, and then to either take it or to hide. So the first 2 breaths are, like I said, those are the most dangerous. So really watch your threat on the pull. Also, you don't know what vulnerability that it's going to be. Like it could be frost vulnerability on the pull, and you just fucking hit him with a 9k frostbolt on the pull. So like you need to hit him with a rank 1 frost. You need to test it as a caster and to see what it is before you get in there deep. Hit it with a fire wand, or hit it with a rank 1 scorch, or hit it with arcane missiles, or hit it with a rank 1 frostbolt. Test it to see what the vulnerability is before you go ham on the pull. because like the other stuff in here, positioning is key. If Chromagus gets out of position and hits the entire raid with a breath, that's pretty much game over.
Wait, so what were you saying about the hunters feign death on time lapse?
Just feign death on cooldown so that your threat is very low, and you'll never have to worry about dodging the. You'll never have to worry about taking the time lapse.
Okay, and then you mentioned the sand. I kind of wanted to get more clarification once you get to that part.
Stay in.
The sand time, I think you mentioned.
The hourglass sand.
Oh, the
Yeah.
sand. So yeah, he puts a bronze debuff on you. That it periodically stuns you for like 5 or 6 seconds. So if you're a hunter and you get bronze, and he frenzies, and then you get stunned by the bronze debuff, obviously you can't fucking trank, and he's going to be eating up the tank for a good 4 seconds.
Okay, so it's like an
yeah.
button for that.
Yeah.
Even if you have bronze, you don't necessarily have to use the sand yet. You only have to use it if you need trank and you can't trank.
Yeah, if it's my turn to trank, I have bronze. I need to have my finger on the sand, or you need to go ahead and do it proactively, because you can't sand while you're stunned. So it's something you got to do before it happens. If my trank's coming up and I'm the next guy, I need to go ahead and use that sand. So yep.
If we go into Neff, or we kill Chromagus and we have the bronze up, do we just want to log out, or do we want to save the sand, or we just go pop them to clear?
We're not gonna have enough sand to just pop it on everybody. That's something I hadn't thought about. That'll probably slow us down a little bit. The best thing to do, I'll tell you what I'll probably do to speed things along, is I'll probably leave that cubby pack up down there, and we'll go like, I don't know, suicide into that or something. I don't know. That's just crazy. I don't know what to do there. We can't pull Neff with bronze. Can't do it.
Could log out for.
Yeah, you can log out. I'm just saying it's going to slow us down a little bit. But yeah, later down the road when we're farming this, we'll just all hand sand and burn through it. All right, I'm going to kill this. Any other questions about Chromagus?
I believe paladins can use. They don't need sands, right? They can just bubble through it.
Yeah, paladins can bubble.
That's
Mages, if they got it, can ice block. That's your ways to get rid of it. Yeah. All right, good shit.
And then the sand, I assume it's a one-time use, so just be smart with it.
You have to be very smart with it. So one last thing I'll say is, especially the healers, save your sand for the 20% he does a soft and rage, where he starts hitting really goddamn hard. So healers, you need to save that sand for that 20% in rage. And the hunters, you just you're gonna have to judge on when you need to use it.
A stupid question, but maybe not. Are we gonna have like a loot threshold set so that like people can just pick up sand if they need it, or are we gonna master loot it and pass it out?
It needs to get master looted and passed out.
Okay.
It's gonna be a pain in the ass, but it needs to get master looted and passed out. Healers need about 2 sands each. Main tank needs about 6 sands. Off tank needs about 2, and the hunters need about 2. So all that together is like, yeah, we got 12 healers. That's 24. That's like 30 some sand right there, which will be about the amount that we get. Huh?
Sand is white. I didn't think you could master loot that one. I thought you just had to pick
You
it up.
can't, I don't think, because it is white.
Are we talking about classic problems?
Yeah, talking about classic.
So you're saying we need to like free for all the trash or something?
No.
No, I'm just saying that everybody if you're looting the mob, like if it's your loot on the mob,
you're going to be able
the
to see
sand
it.
is automatically going to go to you. Yeah.
Master loot won't be able to touch it.
I don't think so.
What I remember is I just remember if I had picked it up, I would just give it to you, Baron. I mean, that's probably what he means.
That's what I remember doing in vanilla.
But it means everyone's gonna need to loot that doesn't typically loot.
Exactly.
Right.
That
Well,
means
the sand is incredibly important, so
usually...
we'll just put an emphasis on making people check their loot, and we'll do a better job than we do on the dogs. How about that? All right.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's an excellent point though. That's something I definitely didn't consider was that the sand might be really annoying trying to get off the corpses. All right. Nefarian. Moving on. All right. You got phase 1. You're gonna have a certain color dragon come out of these tunnels. I'm going to talk about tanking these tunnels, especially for progression. I don't want you guys breaching the doorway. Just sit right here at the doorway, pick them up, and then get them faced away from the raid. There's the big chromatic guys and there's the smaller colored guys. They might be green or blue or black or red or bronze. Be one of those. Whatever ability they do is a cone attack. So when you pick them up tanks, hit it with a maul or whatever, and then face it to the side. The raid should be stacked up, around over here. You can line of sight, like if Nefarian comes over here. I don't really want to get into that. Just be out here about this distance. We'll have a hunter on each side. They need to drop a frost trap about right here. Purpose for that frost trap is just not letting the mobs get past the tanks. Because if the mobs start trickling out and they start getting out from this little kill area right here, it really is going to slow down our DPS a lot. But like I said, there's 2 different mobs. Obviously, the green ones are resistant to nature. The black ones are resistant to fire. The red ones, I think, are resistant to fire. The blue ones are resistant to frost. And then the chromatic ones that are the big ones that spawn ever so often, they're resistant to all magic. So physical DPS, you need to prioritize the bigger ones, and caster DPS, you need to prioritize the smaller ones. But we need to have snares constantly on this tunnel. I know a lot of you got piercing howl. Something tries to get by you, hit it with a piercing howl. Just get it snared. Don't let it get loose. I'll probably do like odds left, evens right. We don't need to spend an enormous amount of time on this phase 1, this phase 1 stuff. But just get. There'll be plenty of healers on each side, and there'll be plenty of DPS on each side. Don't go balls deep down into this fucking area here, because it line of sights the healers, and they can't get to you, and then they got to move forward and break there and get into a bad position and get hit with this breath and shit trying to heal you. Let the mobs come out of the goddamn doorway. Let the tanks pick them up, and we'll kill them right here. Everybody good with that? Don't go down into the doorway.
I think one side has a lot more frost resistance than the other.
If they're blue, then they're resistant to frost. If they're any color other than that, then they don't have any frost resistance. Alright. That's pretty much phase 1. Just sit here, tank your stuff, kill the fucking mobs. Once it gets to, I think, 40, once 40 Draconids are dead, that's when that's the trigger for Neff to land. That's when the Shadow Flame will go out. If you're not wearing your cloak, you're going to instantly die. So very, very important that you always check your fucking gear before we start these fights to make sure you got your cloak on. I don't care what you hit on item rack. I don't care what you did, setting it up. Open your damn character screen and make sure you got a cloak on, which I don't, but I'm not really, yeah.
One question about phase 1 with Nefarian teleporting around shooting shadow bolts. You can LOS that, right? Around the pillar.
You could on private. I don't know about on classic. I'm not going to be super worried about it, but it definitely, the healers, you need to be aware. Everyone needs to be aware if Nefarian is on your side of the map, because he does spam. He mind controls people, and he does AoE Shadow Bolt volley. It hurts real bad. Tense, like healers. As soon as you get 2,000 mana down, you need to mana pot on this fight. You need to treat it like it's a speed run kind of, and start using that stuff right away. Any questions about phase 1? Pretty easy shit. Keep the frost traps down, hit with piercing howl, keep it snared, cleave it up right here at the entrances, get them faced away from the raid. Face them into this wall, and then basically mirror the other side. All right, good to go there.
Also, another one for Nefarian landing. I don't know if it's private servers again, but can paladins bubble to stop the flame?
You can, but you're still going to wear a cloak just in case.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, just in case. Yeah.
Okay, so Nefarian will land right here, ish. I'll pick him up, and same thing. I want him faced perpendicular into this wall, roughly midways in between these 2 columns. So this is where I want him, right here. I want him facing me right here. Let's get this show going. I want my range DPS right here. Don't get too, as a healer, don't get too far to the right. If you do, you're going to get hit with a Shadow Flame if you're too far to the right. So you want to be about right here, max range, because his fear is about 30 to 35 yards. You can outrange it, but you want to be right here. A couple of specific, very important roles for the healers here is priests watching for a power word shield before or after the Shadow Flame hits the tank. The Resto Druids knowing when the curse is coming and spamming the shit out of decurse as it is applied. And I will also put one Frost Mage with the ranged group. Right there. I'll put a Frost Mage with Star, and there'll be only one mage here. And his purpose is he's got two purposes here. If it's a Warlock call and the Infernals drop on the raid, I want that mage to hit them with a Cone of Cold and try to get them away from the healers. Like hit them with a Cone of Cold and then kite them away from the healers. The melee and the other mages that are going to be over there can kind of come in and help. And the other one is if it's a druid call, that mage is up here in place to fill in for decursing on the tank. If it's a druid call forces them into cat form, so they can't decurse, of course. The mages will be back here. I don't know how this is going to work for Classic, but this is how we're going to do it anyways. All the mages will be right back here at maximum range, frost bolting Nefarian up the ass, right here. If it's a mage call, you're going to blink, turn around, blink, run around here, and you're going to hide behind this pillar, about right here. Also, if it's a mage call, priest, paladins, we got to watch out for dispelling on the tank. If the tank gets sheeped and then it does a Shadow Flame, then the entire raid just got killed, pretty much. So, a lot of little small things that can make things go downhill real fast. That's pretty much it. If it's a priest call, say something. Stop fucking healing. It puts a dot on anybody you heal. It's corrupted healing. Paladin calls Bob. Hunters, you gotta switch out your bow. Or if your bow's equipped, when he calls for you, it'll break it. Rogues, it like teleports you to the front. Something like that. Warrior call is very dangerous. It forces the warrior into berserker stance, so he's going to take about 20% more damage. And it's not really the melee that's the worry there. It's 20% more on a Shadow Flame that is very, very dangerous. So the tank, you're definitely. I think it's wise to go ahead and last stand if you get a warrior call. Go ahead and last stand that Shadow Flame. It's the chances that you're going to get it again later in the fight is not likely. Or even if it was, you just don't know. You don't know. What you do know is that it's a warrior call and it hurts like hell. Go ahead and use your cooldowns now. If you die, he's immune to taunt, and it's bad. Whoever the second tank is, I want you on the other side of Nefarian, this side over here. I want you putting in, just going ham as fuck on building secondary threat, so that if we lose the main tank, you have a chance at saving the day. Dual wield Sunder Spam. And that's pretty much that. When it gets close to 20%, we may wait for a class call. For example, the big one would be mages. If it's a mage call, right when 20% hits and all the skeletons come back to life, that's going to be very bad. Because the mages, they put the snares on them, they do most of the AoE, they help us keep the mobs bunched up, and or most of the damage, and do most of the damage. So if it's a mage call right at 20%, that's really fucking bad. So we may delay pushing 20% if the class call is near to see what we get. And if it is a mage call, we may just sit there at 20% and let him hang until the mage call is done. It's just that one's really the main one. If it's a priest call, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, you'll have a little less healing. If it's anything, literally anything else, it's not a big deal. But if it's a mage call and the skeletons come, it's going to make things pretty difficult. That's pretty much it on that. When the skeletons come, there'll be obviously a huge wave come from this side, huge wave come from that side. Tank 2, make your way over here, do a group taunt lip, or mages, just run in that shit in lip, bop the mages, whatever, get balls deep in there and blow that shit up. Obviously don't kill yourself if you're going to run into them as a mage, and make sure you have some kind of an invulnerability up, or hit them with a cone of cold and try to kite them a little bit, but obviously get to them before they get to the raid.
They come from both sides, yes?
They come from wherever the mobs died. So there should be a
okay.
stack of bodies over there. There should be a stack of bodies right there, and they should all res up and come together. And obviously they'll be aggroed on healing aggro, so they'll be all coming to this point right here. So they may try to cut corner and come around this side here. If they do, that's where that tank 2 needs to kind of step in. I don't want them cutting corner here. I want everything to kind of come through this lane right here, this corner right here. So I could step in and kind of group taunt and get them coming this way. But I don't want them to cut corner and go around that side of the stanchion there. I want them to come this way. That's pretty much it. Anything else? I'm gonna talk to them. We can go through it real quick. You guys can ask me while we're killing mobs if you got questions. I've made no mistakes. Please do, motherfucker.
For the paladin call, he just automatically uses your bob, right? Even if it's off like CD or something like
I don't know that it puts it on cooldown. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What if you just... I don't remember if I used it on myself.
He's getting bopped either way. Yeah,
Okay,
using
that
it
doesn't
early
matter.
isn't going to help anything, really. Is it broken? Is it because GM is on? That's probably why. Okay. Is it bugged? Nice fucking job. I fucking bugged it because GM was on. Feels bad.
Well, might as well go take your spot at the throne.
How much HP does Neff have?
And kill him. Does he drop loot? 16 silver.
Now, you showed us all the 2-man strats. Are you going to show us all the 40-man strats?
Let's see. I might be able to fix that. Let's see. Yeah, I can fix this real quick.
I feel bad for these guys' hands. Should we give them the stuff for free?
No.
I got a quick melee question. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but if you did, I missed it. On the trash mobs, you said the spellbinders are immune to all spell.
Say again?
I think your mic went out.
So do all melee focus those spellbinders?
Kill order. So as a melee, when you do a tech pack, you'll kill the 2 warlocks, and then you'll immediately go to the spellbinders after that. Yep, that's correct. And then or you could go to the Draconid. Like either one is fine. There's no bad way to do that. One thing you're going to leave alone is the techies, and you're going to leave the you're just going to leave the techies alone. So yeah, you would go spellbinders as melee, or you would go to Draconid. We'll probably do spellbinders. God damn it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got this fixed. Let's see here. We're good now. Back in business.
Baron, how long do you think it's going to take us? Just curious.
I don't know. Don't know.
First week might go a little slower just while people
I'd say
adjust.
somewhere, we should be able to get through there in like somewhere between an hour and a half, I think.
Yeah, first week probably may take longer than normal just while people kind of get used to positioning and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is better to be slow and steady than to rush and wipe.
Chances are we're gonna, so this is bronze, like I said, get them faced away from the raid. Face everything away from the raid. What's going on? We have red on this side. You'd wanna, you can face them this way, it's fine. What was I getting at again? Somebody asked me. Oh yeah, how long to? Oh yeah, more than likely, what's going to happen, like something that we're used to from private, is going to be something that's kind of weird, and or something, something weird, like a techies are going to be weird or something dumb like that. You never know. Like, there's a lot of things that can cause a wipe in here, so it wouldn't surprise me if something fucking blows up. Not a big deal if it happens. Kill 40 Draconids, getting there. He also silences.
How does it work? Just random target, or?
I think it's a random thing. It'll have to be somewhere. So he'll shadow bolt the shit out of somebody too. Spam shadow bolt on somebody. You got to heal that person. He'll fear. He'll mind control. Just whatever they get hit with, cleanse. If it's a mind control, just sheep them. We're there yet. So 38. Tank would start heading out. Gonna spawn. Gonna be over here ready to pick him up. Just gonna fly his ass over here. Be right here ready to pick him up. And he's gonna. And I need heals right away. We'll need heals right away. Once all the Draconids are cleaned up, mages are gonna come right here. You're gonna bolt from right there. There'll already be like a druid, a paladin, and a priest over here healing the tank. So you're just gonna stand right here and spam your little heals. And I'm gonna get feared right now. So that would be bad. This is bad. We lost our positioning. And his hitbox is so big, it's just impossible to fix the positioning, really. If that happens, try to walk it a little bit. Pop a cooldown. And hopefully you don't die, because all your healers got tail swapped. It can also, if the tank frequently gets feared, it can lead to him getting too far over here. assuming you didn't take a Shadow Flame to the raid, where you kind of run out of space, and then everyone starts getting hit with the fear, which is very bad. Yeah, I don't have a fear ward. I guess I could learn it real quick, but well, it's a druid call. See, I'm forced into cat form. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I'm gonna get his. I'm gonna work on getting his health down some. Kind of see what the skeletons look like. Percent. All the mobs are going to be coming over here. Out of cat form. I'm stuck in cat form because it's druid. It's druid call. That's right. So we want to pick those up over here and light them up. It'll get kind of laggy when all those get here too. I was trying to pick those up on the druid, but it happened to be a druid call, and I couldn't pick them up. But normally they would get picked up right here and killed about right in this area right here. That's where you want to take them out.
Are we saving sappers for that point?
Yeah. All hands will go back there and clear those fuckers up. Yeah. Melee will come back, sapper.
Strat holy water works great there too.
Ranged attack too, so it's really nice.
Don't go yet, hands. 1 second.
Alright. Look at that. Nell's tier. Yes. Great. Alright. That's it, boys. That's all I got. Any questions about Neff?
I was gonna say, usually you need like a mage to decurse you too, also, Baron.
Yeah, I mentioned that I would be leaving one mage and one mage only up there as a backup in case it's a druid call.
Oh, sorry. I must have missed that.
You're good. You need to get some sleep. You sound like you're
I am.
A little tired there. Alright, that's it. Any questions? I think we can pretty much wrap it up there. It took a little longer than I thought to get through this, but we made it.
You didn't really say what trash are gonna have, like, you know, what we should cleanse on dangerous debuffs. I don't know.
Yeah, I mentioned that on the.
It's like poison on the techies.
I mentioned that on the Veil.
Okay.
So a druid will just put abolish on the techie tank, and that should take care of all that. But I mentioned the big ones that you got to cleanse are this trash right here for Veil. This is the trash you got to fucking cleanse. They put some nasty debuffs that can wipe the raid. And then for the tech packs, they do polymorph. That's got to get cleansed. That's about it. Chromagus, that's a big cleanse fight. Yeah, that's about it.
Alright.
Anything else?
Don't forget your flask.
Yeah, don't forget your flask. Don't forget your goddamn cloak. Don't forget your fucking cloak. You have to have your cloak of Anexia.
Dark Moon
That fire resist enchant on your cloak.
Crit resist.
But so, for DPS, you only need to have it on Onyxia, right?
What?
It's not a huge DPS loss. So if you want it on the Drakes, you want it on everything that breathes.
Yeah,
So,
you want it. Yeah.
For Firemaw, Ebonrock, Flamegore, Nefarian, every single person in the raid is going to wear their Shadow Flame cloak.
Okay.
I don't care what class you are. Everybody's going to wear it because
even
the tank, some of the tanks are.
It's not a huge.
Yeah, we don't know how the mobs are going to respond to like movement and stuff. Like it's really dumb, the predictive AI that Classic uses. So, you know, if I'm trying to like find position like Firemaw, he could like, okay, I'm just going to take like 5 steps to the right, even though you didn't go there, and then he could Shadow Flame the raid. Well, it'll happen. It'll happen. So, it'll take some time to adjust to. Anything else?
Let's kick some ass.
All right, I'm gonna shut her down there. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, bro.
Who's our enchanter now?
Law and Argesh.
Yeah, he